Welcome back to Silver Lanes, East Hartford, the location for the Cambridge Credit Counseling Invitational. We have reached the Final Four stage. Mark Robbins along with Don Harger. And Don, let's go over it again. It's not quite just two semifinals in this stepladder format.
No, if you remember, if you ever watched bowling over the years, that stepladder final really proved to be a fun kind of experience at the end. And you reward the bowlers who bowl the best during that tournament. If you came in first place during the tournament and you got a seed in the top four, if you were the #1 seed, you only have to win one match to win the whole thing.
And so now we have a matchup of the 4 and the 3 seed. Dave Forcier is the 4 seed, Thomas Coco Jr., the 3 seed. So these two will now go at it. The winner moves on to face the #2 seed. That will be Paul Smith. And the winner of that match will take on our top seed, Chris Soule, out of Feeding Hills, Massachusetts. So Soule sits and maybe does some searching as he awaits his one match for the championship. Forcier in the red out of Coventry, Rhode Island, in biopharmaceutical. He is a member of NEBA for a long time. In fact, 1978, he joined the organization, has 12 championships beginning back in 1981. And Thomas Coco Jr. was on our show a couple of tournaments ago out of Cortland Manor, New York. And we are underway. We've got two lefties going at it. Forcier gets things going, and Don, he's using a ball that is all the rage.
I'll tell you what, the Storm IQ Tour Pearl, one of the newest balls on the market from Storm. It is amazing. In the first week or so, I've already seen a bunch of bowlers go out and buy this ball and bowl very, very well with it. Dave just missed his target a tiny bit to the right-hand side, went a little high, left himself an easy 2-pin spare, but watch and wait till you see what this ball can do.
And we got two lefties going at it, and Forcier picks up the spare. And in fact, we have a third lefty, Paul Smith, out of Clinton, Connecticut, waiting for the winner of this match. The only righty remaining is the top seed, Chris Soule.
Thomas is actually using a Storm product as well. It's the Natural Pearl, and he's got a Hammer Cobalt Vibe in his arsenal as well.
Coco, a chef at the Seabury Field Home. And a little late help to get the 7.
A great reaction right there. He's putting the ball down very nice and early. He's rolling it with his fingers. He's going to get a little bit more action on the back end. If we remember our last tournament, they oiled 41 feet. It was called the beaten path pattern. And today we oiled 37 feet. It gives us 4 extra feet of dry in the back end, and that's why you're going to see a little bit more reaction in the back, a little bit stronger entry into the pocket.
Second frame for Coco. And that time he got no help, and the 7 stands strong.
Yeah, that was a bad break. That was a great shot. I was talking to a lot of the righties, and I asked, geez, how come there's so many lefties in these finals? And from what I heard, the left-hand side, the first 2 or 3 boards on the very extreme far left outside were a little bit drier than the first 3 boards on the right-hand side. And when the righties got the ball out there, actually, if it was a little too fast with their speed, that ball wouldn't come back to the pocket, but the lefties, they were able to hit the pocket from that angle.
Coco going after the 7, and he clips it for the spare.
A nice start from Thomas. I think he feels good about the line. And Dave's around the same spot, but Dave's not going to get the ball out to that extreme left-hand side. He's going to go a little straighter with the ball, and he's going to try to get that ball to set up around the 7th or 8th board before it starts to actually hit that dry part of the lane and roll up.
Second frame right on the head pin, and 9 go down. The 6 remains.
From that extreme outside angle, your timing and your speed have to be very, very good. If you let up a little bit with speed, the ball's going to jump high when that weight block flips and hits the dry. So maybe just a little bit of early nerves happening. He's not throwing the ball quite as hard as he needs to. He's going to have to pick up speed a little bit.
That one took a little bit of a hop coming off his hand, but he gets the spare.
When you're going after single pin spares, you don't really have to throw it perfect. All you got to do is just kind of come out of the ball and just hit the pin. It doesn't have to have any great roll on it.
And normally when you're bowling against a right-hander, if you're a lefty, you don't particularly have to worry about what they're doing because it's, you know, the other side of the lane. With 2 lefties going at it, do they study each other?
Well, the lane condition's going to break down twice as fast because there's 2 lefties bowling against each other.
Third frame now, Forcier. And boy, that 7 on lane 23 just doesn't want to go.
See, that time he got the ball out a little bit to the left, but it didn't quite bite hard, and that's what the righties were telling me all day. When they actually threw the ball very well and they felt like it was going to strike, they'd get a hit like that, and they just couldn't carry the corner pins
against each other.
So it really has a lot to do with the equipment that you're
Third frame
using.
now, Forcier.
Just came in a little bit behind the head.
Boy, that 7 on
That 4 pin goes around the 7.
Forcier now goes to the spare ball to get the 7, which he does.
You know, that's the difference between NEBA bowlers and league bowlers and recreational bowlers. Everybody wants to throw strike, obviously, but boy, when they don't, they make their spares. That's what gets you to these finals. You know, I heard a lot of people, geez, I missed 2 spares all day, and they missed the cut by 5 pins. That's just the way it is. You got to be good.
Extremely competitive, and we've been watching them all afternoon, paring their way down. And here's the 3 seed, Coco. Picks it up perfectly.
That was delicious. His release, thumb is just absolutely behind the ball, fingers totally under the ball. The thumb comes out, the fingers just simply roll through. He doesn't come up on the ball. He doesn't overhit the ball and make his hand rotate around the ball. Just an absolute perfect roll. Great reaction. He's going to be tough to beat if he can repeat shots like that.
Seems a little smoother in the delivery than Forcier.
And he's got a little experience on TV too. Maybe that's helping him out as well.
Working on a strike now here in the 4th frame. That's 2 in a row for Coco.
Another thing that's going to help you is your speed control. We saw a lot of guys hit the pocket, but if you threw the ball too hard, you couldn't get the weight block to flip, or you couldn't get the ball to really come out of that dry and hit on a good angle because they were actually throwing it a little too hard through the break. So actually Thomas is really rolling it with a perfect speed. He loves the reaction. Again, stays down low. Now the ball's hitting the dry here and it starts going dead right. Great reaction right there.
Here's Forcier now in his 4th frame. And again, he is not quite as smooth on the release. That ball takes a bit of a bounce.
You know, here's the thing, and each bowler has to figure it out for themselves. He either has to throw the ball harder where he is, or he's got to take his feet and move about 2-3 boards to the right so that he can catch just a tiny bit more head oil before that ball starts to roll up a little bit. We'll see how he adjusts next shot.
Trying to get these 2 for his 4th straight spare, and he does.
He's got a funny look on his face right there. That ball hooked a little bit more than he thought.
Wasn't textbook.
But it looks good up on the score. So he's got 4 spares, and Thomas has 3 out of 4 strikes. You know, again, he threw the ball a little bit hard, but boy, that ball is so aggressive. You see that thing wanting to hook on the back end? So we're going to see how he moves. He should move maybe a board or 2 to the right catch a little bit more head oil. We're going to check it out.
5th frame for Dave Forcier. Going right at the pocket. And his first strike in this match.
That was a perfect shot. Perfect adjustment off lane 24. And sometimes you have one lane, you're striking on one side and you can't figure out the other lane. You just got to make sure you don't make a move on the good lane. But I think he did move a couple of boards to his right, caught a little bit more head oil, made a great shot, had a good reaction.
We look at it again, and after Coco rolls here, Don, I want you to tell me how easy is it to go from a 2-game match, which is what everybody bowled until this point, to just the 1. And that's the turkey for Coco.
Terrific shot from Thomas. So when you're in a 2-game match, it's not life or death. You bowl your first game and you do have time. You actually have 24 frames to figure it out. If you lose the first match, it's not all over. It's not a sprint. You have to make adjustments fairly early, but you don't have to make them like right then and there. When you're in a one game match like this, you better figure it out in a hurry, because already we're in the 6th frame and Thomas has a pretty decent lead right now.
Coco working on the turkey going into the 6th frame. The 4-bagger for Thomas. Coco.
So we talked about, we've got 2 lefties bowling against each other and they're playing close to the same line. So that's going to dry that area out a little bit and the ball is going to get a little bit more recovery. I'm not saying that was a bad ball, that was dead on perfect, but you're going to see the aggressiveness. That ball gets out to the 2nd, 3rd board and it's coming back hard. And you're going to see that consistency right there because 2 bowlers are throwing the same spot of the lane and they're drying it out.
Forcier with a strike on his last roll here in the 6th. There's 2 in a row.
Attaboy, David. I think he moved a couple of boards right, got the ball right out to where he was supposed to, and that ball checked up nicely.
Going against Coco, who's got 4 straight that he's working on. Forcier needs to keep pace.
Watch how low he gets and he stays low. Great follow through that shot. The ball left his hand, but he didn't stop his arm swing. It kept going straight through the shot. Absolutely perfect.
Forcier's roll in the 7th. And the 10 stands.
Just a little bit light in the pocket. We saw a lot of times today that carry went. This time he leaves a swishing 10 pin. Pretty easy spare, but because it's on a double, it cost him 21 pins in this match.
Forcier at 105 through 5. Has the angle and picks up the mark.
That's just a bad break. That was a really good shot.
All right, so Thomas Coco now 4 in a row, and he can start to spread out the situation and add to his lead if he can come up with another one. Seventh frame. That's 5.
Yeah, he's starting to wheel it now. It's when you get in a zone, you get nice and comfortable, you just repeat shots, and you almost don't even have to be perfect. You're just that much in the zone. That was a great release. He came up a little bit off balance, but unbelievable result. He's just got the right speed, the right ball, the right hand position, the right release. The mojo is working.
And he steps up now, working on 5 straight strikes here in the 8th frame. Make it 6, the double turkey.
That's just perfection right there. You know, you're watching these guys bowl, and the way they repeat shots, once they find it, you know, if they're in trouble, you got to bury them. Because if they find it and if there's enough time left in the game, they'll come right back. That's just as perfect as can be right there.
Forcier now with some pressure as he rolls here in the 8th. Really needing a strike. And the 7 is uncooperative.
That is a bad break again. Now, if you look at his hand position at the release point, his hand is a little bit around the ball a hair earlier than Thomas, and that might be the difference in not carrying those corner pins. If we watch his hand slowly, it's behind the ball right here. Right before he releases it, he comes around a little bit on his hand. See on the side? Just that little tiny
away
bit.
from his body.
Exactly. I mean, we're splitting hairs here. I'm trying to figure out why he's not carrying on really good shots.
Another spare for Forcier, but he's going up against a strike machine right now in Thomas Coco. And Forcier at 144 through 7 with the spare in the 8th, about to roll here in the 9th frame. And time is starting to run out.
That's the tough thing about this game. You know, he starts off with 4 spares, and they were kind of lucky because they were high. He makes a great adjustment. He buries the next 4. He only has 2 strikes to show for it.
Forcier in the 9th. There, that's what he needed.
Excellent shot. They always seem to go when you're kind of out of it, right?
Now Coco working on 6 straight, starting this 9th frame.
Possible 280 for Thomas Coco. 224 possibility for Dave.
Strike here pretty much wraps things up. Came in late and got help on the 7.
Now, I knew there was going to be some sort of reaction on that one. He let that ball down early. He rolled it. That thing was going dead left out of his hand. He knew it. But again, on the left-hand side, those first few boards seemed to be a little drier. And that ball came all the way back, tickled the head pin, and it's strong enough to knock them all down.
Thomas Coco has 7 in a row, starting the 10th.
This is when bowling's fun right here.
And he went to his spare ball. And a late break on that.
So he knows this match is in hand. He wants to take another ball, check the reaction. Because if he loses the reaction with the ball he's using now, he definitely can understand what that next ball is going to do. This ball is going to go a lot longer. Watch, it's still out there on the 2nd, 3rd board. It's going to hook even stronger on the back, but it did give him some length. So he's going to put that in the memory bank for next game.
And a nicely picked up mini split. In the 10th, Thomas Coco will be moving on to the next round where he will meet the 2nd seed, Paul Smith. It's the Cambridge Credit Counseling Invitational. We want to thank our sponsors, don't we?
Exactly. Cambridge Credit Counseling. They're located in Agawam, Massachusetts. They've helped over 2 million people over the past 17 years with financial stress issues, such as credit card problems, high credit card debt, home foreclosures. They're a 501c3 nonprofit organization, which means that their rates are extremely affordable and they're very accessible to the public. Cambridge Credit Counseling. It's a great sponsor and a great company.
Dave Forcier wrapping things up in the 10th frame. 257 for Thomas Coco.
The score's not going to show it, but Dave really threw a good game here. Nice adjustments. Was around the pocket on every shot.
And Forcier has 1 more roll left, working at 194 plus whatever happens on this one.
Now our next bowler, Paul Smith, wait till you see the power in this young man's approach.
And a finish with a flurry for Dave Forcier. 204 for him, 257 for our first match winner, Thomas Coco Jr. He'll move on to meet the second seed, Paul Smith. That match coming up next. You're watching NEBA Bowling right here on CPTV Sports.